Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Welcome back to Gamestah TV. We are bringing you grand final action from the VEC Online League of Legends tournament. It is game number 5 out of a best of 5. That's right. We have had absolute neck and neck action. Neck on neck action here in the grand final with HKAYCEE and Team Flaccid each taking 2 games, both times when they're on blue side. And the question now is whether Team Flaccid are going to be able to break the deadlock and come through to win a game on the red side, or whether HKAYCEE will continue the winning run of the blue side. My name is HKAYCEE. I'm joined in the studio by Poon, and goodness me, Poon, what a series we've had.
What a series indeed, and we have played, so we haven't personally played it, but we have watched both these teams fight it out in this best of 5 series, and have both have 2 wins under their belt. So this is going to be the deciding game in the last game of this best of 5 series. So we'll see what they can do and what stops they can both pull out to kind of get this win. But most definitely a very hyped match and a lot on the line.
Yeah, well, the victory of the entire tournament rests on just this one game. So nothing weird like they have in Korean best of 5s, where the last game, if it goes to a 5th game, they just do blind pick, that sort of thing. We're just going to have a straight on tournament draft into the 5th game. So HKAYCEE, who I assume, Poon, ended the top seed of the tournament.
Yeah, HKAYCEE didn't lose a game the whole tournament from what I've gathered.
Right.
So yeah, top seed.
So that is why they've got the blue side advantage this game round. Now we're straight through. We've rushed through the bans already. Thresh, Fiora, Braum, Nunu, LeBlanc, and Alistair. A little bit of variation here and there. Poor old Thresh has been banned every single game though.
Yeah, Thresh being banned all 5 games. So obviously Valen not going to get a showing on that champion. And interesting thing that we've seen is that HKAYCEE is actually going to play that game playing this game, so very excited to see that in someone else's hands.
Yeah, you played it, Limes. Well, it's my turn. Victor, in turn, getting picked up by Limes. That'll go into Lazarus. Lazarus had a great game as the victor in the previous the previous matchup. OPeL Proe, who took MVP in the in the 4th game on the Rek'Sai, sticking with his Rek'Sai, and hey, we're going to have a Gnar in the top lane, and this time in the hands of Limes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Limes can adapt to this gangplank, because because HKAYCEE didn't really do a good job last game on that Yasuo trying to counteract the gangplank power spike, and we'll see if they lace up again, because that's definitely be something that will change the dynamics of this game. But yeah, probably going on to that Corki, something he's very comfortable on, and he's 2-0 on in this series thus far.
Jonty Wanty, mixing it up again, has decided to forego any sort of burst or engage champions. And decided to flick through onto the Xerath. Sorry, for a moment there, had a brain freeze.
It's alright.
So surprised.
The best of us.
I'm just trying to think, like, when was the last time Xerath actually got played competitively? Because he's really fallen out of favor.
Yeah, I mean, Xerath, one of those champions that are very safe in the aspect of having long-range poke and extremely safe in lane. So Victor can have a hard time trying to kill him if he can play positionally correct and all that. But yeah, very smart pick there to kind of counteract the team comp of Flaccid. But we see the Ashe Janna pick up as the last 2 picks. Quite interesting picks there.
And well, that was what Flaccid ran in the first game, wasn't it? Ashe Janna.
Yeah, it is. In fact, we did see Proe play that Ashe Janna, but they did end up losing that game. So we'll see if Spectre and his partner Sykes can make something happen with the counter matchup in terms of playing it on the other side. But yeah, we'll see if Sykes can interrupt Leona's Zenith Blades with her tornadoes, because that's one of the signs if you're a good Janna player.
Yeah, talking about those Zenith Blades, Valen and Proe have the super synergy of the bottom lane. Leona and Corki synergize so well together. No matter what if Corki gets his Gatling gun going as Leona goes in, every single one of the Sunlight procs will actually, Sunlight marks will get procced, and the maximum amount of damage goes down. So it's been a while since I've seen Corki and Leona working together, but I am excited to see what Proe and Valen are able to do. Like you said, though, the all-in is going to be dependent on Sykes not being able to get it right with his Howling Gale. So a lot of pressure on Sykes for this matchup, making sure that his ADC, his immobile ADC, never gets into trouble with a shield getting smacked into his face from Valen. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, well, we can't quite talk about it, but I'll just waste time for about 3 seconds, and then we will be able to. As we go into the loading time, look at the mid lane. Both summoner spells being picked up. The cleanse.
Yeah, both champions taking cleanse. I mean, John T obviously going to want to cleanse away that solar flare and even Limes' mega ult. So see how efficiently he can use it. He did use it to great effect last time he ran cleanse. And Lazarus obviously going to try to cleanse away these Ash arrows, and also John T wants his E. So we'll see which champions can do that and how effectively they can make or utilize his summoner spells, sorry.
I wonder if we can expect a multitude of QSSs and Crucibles on the field today.
Most definitely. I mean, those are definitely the counterplays to CC, and there's CC galore on both teams. So we'll see how they counteract these, obviously the kits of the champions, and how they can play around them. Because Ash, one of those champions, quite easy to counter, but if given a slow lead, she will definitely snowball out of control.
In the jungle, we've already talked about OPeL Proe on the Rek'Sai. Had a great game as the Rek'Sai before, picking up exit kills, dominating, invading, and of course making sure that all of the dragons and one of the barons, in fact all of the barons I guess, even though it was only one, went onto his team. Dream had an okay game as the Gragas previously, but not fantastic. But he's decided to stick with the Gragas in any case. I just wonder to what extent the Gragas is going to synergize with his team. I suppose we have that situation again where if any stun lands onto Team Flaccid, anyone in Team Flaccid, Greg can follow up with an explosive cask and isolate that player even further and make sure that his team is able to take him down.
Yeah, as you mentioned, definitely a pick comp on the side of HKAYCEE, but the side of Flaccid have a fight comp, mid to late game comp with the obviously OPeL Proe picking that Rek'Sai, who he's very, very strong on, as you saw last game, picking up the MVP. Lazarus, a strong Victor player. Proe and Valen going to try get some aggressive kills down in the bot lane in this last game, best of 5. Alright, shout out to Coon Kings, who didn't actually make it to the semi-finals due to some player issues. Sorry, the Big Wang Theory, who was biggest thing in chat. Rack Attack, Coon King, shout out. Yeah, all the plugins.
I was there for it. I was going to broadcast that, but it's probably just as well that you didn't show up there, then, because I felt as though I wasn't really on my game last week. It was a solo cast, and I was very glad when it was over because I was having a hard time keeping
I'm sure you would have done
going.
a fantastic job, Would have given the Crisis special. But as you do mention that we are going to head into the skin battle quite shortly, and the skins usually dictate how other games are going to go. And
I haven't been paying attention, like keeping score properly though, so I don't actually know out of the 4 games who's in the lead in terms of the skin battle.
Well, who knows? Both mid laners, I can tell you for a fact, use the creative Victor skin, and Victorious Janna was used on both Jannas, so I guess that's something that you can note down in your stats. But
4 skins down at the bottom. Well done, Flaccid, they've got 4 skins.
And topside has 5 skins.
So look, I mean, this is a real dilemma because ordinarily the more skins win, but 4 skins and Flaccid, it just really works well together.
But then that Gangplank skin is free, so
Oh, so it doesn't even count. Okay, no. Well, then we don't count. So so we're gonna have to give it to HKC, is what you're saying. Oh no, the Gangplank doesn't count, and he's on HKC. So
Yeah, so it's even.
even Stevens, and well done to both of these teams. It's just like the whole of the series. It's been neck and neck all of the way.
Exactly, everything close as can be in this series, and another pause coming through. Apparently lag issues, and if any time to get the kinks out of the armor, it is now, because it is the last game, and no point having a perfect set of armor after the war's done. So we'll see what the teams can do.
Wise words.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like putting on your driver's your seatbelt after crashing in a car crash. It's not as effective, or effective at all. But as we do head into this game, it's going to be interesting to see which teams really play proactively, because I feel like the word that really makes the game is proactiveness, because the team that gets the early lead makes the teams makes the teams react. Really get the advantage, because the reactive team is quite behind in terms of pace and just pace and objectives, because they usually get the turrets too late, or they get to the dragon too late, and at that point it's too late to kind of get back any leads they've lost. So it's really up to both HKC and Flaccid to kind of dictate the pace of the game.
Well, HKC have the advantage, according to how things have gone in this match. They're on the blue sides. Wonder if we're going to see another lane swap coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they do lane swap, in fact, because neither team really benefit in a lane swap, but if they were to lane swap, it would definitely be Flaccid who do end up lane swapping, because Gangplank, although it wasn't a good representation last game, if Gangplank does get behind, then he has a very hard time getting to that late game snowbally stage.
Biggest Wang is in love with Shannon. Shout out to Shannon.
That's my flatmate. She's yeah, he's a bit in love with her, but it's a bit of a one-way road. But I won't break his heart right now.
You just did. Oh, bad luck. Well, shout out to Shannon. And you be sure to let her know that we did a shout out to her, right? Yes?
Yeah, I'll just knock on her door and tell her. Nah, I'll tell her after this.
What do you mean? Is she not watching?
Well, she doesn't understand League of Legends. She's more of a Hearthstone casual. She's a bit of a normie.
Plays a bit of Candy Crush.
Exactly. She actually Candy Crush is actually one of the games that she does end up indulging in from time to time. But yeah, as we see both teams walking towards the enemy jungles, no confrontations at level 1, and we see Saichi's start with the barrel, which means that he's obviously gonna, not obviously, but most likely gonna opt for that double jungle start, because that's when you start barrel, because it helps take jungle camps a lot faster than usual.
Minions have spawned.
Oh, you mean Dream?
No, the barrel on Gangplank.
Oh, the barrel. I'm sitting here going, but what? The barrel?
Yeah. Gangplank, if you start barrel, it usually means you're going to double jungle, but they're actually going to see each other at this blue buff, possibly, and might stop Dream from taking this blue buff. Actually, they actually haven't seen each other, and they're so close, and they actually do peek ever so slightly and stop Proe and Balin from taking this Gromp.
Yeah, good little piece of work there, preventing any sort of advantage for the Flaccid boys in the bottom lane. So they had wards down looking for a lane swap, but I guess they just didn't want a lane swap, because they pinged Gangplank as he walked past the ward, but decided not to move on up there.
Yeah, very interesting to see that they didn't lane swap. They did, in fact, see him, and yeah, contrary to what I said, Lions and OPeL Proe are the ones that are going to be double jungling, and Saichi's going to do his best job at freezing this lane so he doesn't get an XP lead, as Limes doesn't get an XP lead, sorry, and Limes going to come back with a ward and 4 pots, so very advantageous back for him, and going to make this laning phase a little bit easier for him.
Well, he arrives in lane. They've both got level 2, the two of them. That said, Saichi has got level 2 because of minions, and there is a nice little wave there, prep for Limes, to pick things up. In the middle lane, oh, hang on, they're just exchanging here in the top lane. HKAYCEE going in and possibly trolling, trying to get Limes to head on into the middle lane. Is Limes proxies Mega Nah, but isn't going to be able to do anything out of that. So throws a house, and that's just about it. Oh, gets the stun down. HKAYCEE trying to camp in the brushes. They're going absolutely all out at this stage. Limes looking very, very dangerous. Takes a Q in the backside to get himself out of there and pots himself up. He's going to stick around though. He's fairly confident that he's not going to get ganked, and just in case, he puts down that ward. So he's going to stick around and hope to get this large minion wave. Of course, Poon, he doesn't have teleport, so he needed to stay in lane or lose all of the XP.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of back and forth in the top lane at such an early stage, and nearly first blood going over HKAYCEE, so obviously very comfortable on that gangplank, and obviously doing a good job, good showing thus far, and almost forcing him out of lane, but those 4 pots are going to help him a lot. Bot lane, Spectre, CLG, and Sykes actually pushing them in.
Yeah, very confident that Sykes is going to be able to get the disengages down. Valen has hit his level 3, so you know that's really where that's his first little spike. Look at the long route that OPeL Proe has taken though, so we're going to look for some sort of an engage, and Valen trying very hard to bait out the Howling Gale. There it comes. They're going to go in. The flash through from Sykes. The focus is onto Sykes, in fact. So they get him down with the first and take the first blood. So nice little play over there. Sykes was he was hanging out there, Poon, making sure that he was able to disengage, and that put him in harm's way.
Yeah, I mean that's the power of Rek'Sai right there. You can gank from any angle and make it pay off. And Dream hasn't actually been getting these early ganks off as Gangplank, which is not Gangplank, Gragas, and Gragas has a very strong kit for early ganks. So not quite sure what the reasoning behind that is, but mid lane Lazarus is up 8 or so farm, having a slight advantage, but Spectre will eat this wave up and be happy with this, and most likely stay until he gets the BF money that he needs.
Yeah, just patiently farming away in the mid lane, not much going on. Limes has returned to, well, he's stuck in lane. He hasn't actually returned, still got his original item there. And Gangplank, where is he about now? I think he's probably used all of his flask up so far, because he's now taking down his pots. They're neck on neck in terms of CS, with just a slight advantage building for HKAYCEE. But of course, Poon, as I said in the previous game, with Gangplank you just need to go even to get ahead.
Yeah, as you did mention, Gangplank only has to go even to get ahead, and obviously now as OPeL Proe looking towards the top lane, there's no wards to show that he is in fact here, and it's going to be a very dangerous situation for HKAYCEE.
Limes kind of telegraphing that a gank is coming up. Oh, he might have actually baited HKAYCEE. In he comes. There's no flash, and Limes is in fact anticipating the flash, gets himself in position and dies, but HKAYCEE has just hit level 6, so he gets the damage down, but OPeL Proe makes sure that he gets the kill and takes him down in the end there. So 2 kills for 1, the situation now with that first blood going down in the bottom lane, and the follow-up gank from OPeL Proe. So working the lanes at the moment, Poon.
Yeah, I mean, HKAYCEE did a very good job there actually getting the kill back after being ganked, and fortunately enough for him, got the 1-for-1 opposed to just dying outright. And yeah, kind of feels he got the upper hand in that, wasted a bit of OPeL Pro's time, and ended up killing Limes in that top lane, so very good job there by HKAYCEE.
In the bottom lane, the farm fest continues. It's a pretty passive lane, I guess, when every time you try to do something you get knocked back by Sykes. So they're just camping out and making sure that they stay well healthy and look for their jungler to come down. Speaking of junglers, OPeL Proe taking down the Scuttle Crab, and Dream hanging about. He might get himself into trouble because, well, he tries to get away, but he's going to get caught now by OPeL Proe and forced to get out of there. So the first of the Scuttle Crabs goes to OPeL Proe, and interestingly enough, Poon, they're not going to transfer that over to Dragon.
This is a very bad situation for HKAYCEE because Spectre's yet to back, and he's sitting on 1600 gold at this point. Actually, All-in goes in the top side. He's going to walk forward, eat the orange, and he may 1v1 him right here.
Yeah, Limes has his Mega Knight. He's going to try and stay out of range of the barrel, but good barrel use there. The second barrel going down and getting taken down in the chain reaction. But in the end it's just really a trade more than anything else. That said, Saichi's back in lane with a Sheen, so that's going to help his farming and also his poke.
Yeah, I really want Spectre to go back now because they're really at a disadvantage right now without buying. And he's sitting on, almost rearing up to 1800 gold right now. If he had a BF slot, he could really dictate this lane a lot more. I mean, Valen could just walk up right now and just all in without any risk of damage, basically. Hopefully they should put this lane in. If that was a BF sword Ash, that'd be a, quarter health Corki, and that's just the difference of not buying and having the item disadvantage right now.
So they try, I guess they're being just a little bit more cautious, and I think what they're anticipating is that the Rek'Sai is going to come down to lane and try and take the dragon. So they could it be that all they're trying to do is not give an opportunity by blue pilling to Flaccid to take a dragon?
Well, I guess if you haven't seen the Rek'Sai, that is a very big possibility, but just send your jungler at the bot side of the map and try to force him out, and even if he does end up coming to the bot side of the map for the dragon, your jungler will be there for the potential steal. And also you have a Xerath who can also poke from a long range, so as the All Next goes in here, very, very good Howling Gale there, just to push him off once again, and Syke's doing a very good job here keeping his ADC safe.
Yeah, nicely done, and keeping the lane nice and passive more than anything else. Now we get Xerath coming down into the jungle. He might be... Oh, I thought he might be looking for a gank, either that or the race, but in the end, all he's going to do is disappear from the lane for a little bit, and that's really just to work on the minds of the opponents. Every time he leaves lane, they don't know what he's going to do. If he comes back occasionally, eventually the time that he doesn't come back, they'll realize too late. Back in the top lane, Saichi and Limes continue to farm against each other. Limes looking to turn Mega Knight in just a moment as he manages the bar there, but he would have to get a tower dive in, and I don't think that he wants to do that at this stage.
And the interesting thing is, though, you can show how little back and forth damage is being traded in the bot lane because Spectre has yet to use a pot in that lane, and that just goes to show how well Sykes has been doing in terms of keeping his ADC protected and not letting him take any damage in return. So OPeL, Proe, and Valen actually looking there. Dream actually dashed over the wall and may die here. We have Sykes actually going to come help him, and the cannon barrage does go down. Valen going to get taken quite low, but they might turn around.
Whoa, a flash just saves the Valen's life because the Scud missile went flying past him as a result, heads off the top of the map there. But that was a very, very risky situation, and just a good example of the type of global presence that both Ashe and Gangplank have as a result of their kit. That said, Saichi doesn't just have a global presence, he's got great presence in lane as well, almost pushing Limes out, and at the very least keeping Limes at a very, very low health situation. With the dragon as it is, Poon, these two top laners need to be at good health so that they can, so that the teleport is an option.
Yeah, both top laners sitting on 1500 gold, and neither of them wanting to be the first one to back because that gives the other top laner presence to push the wave in, but neither jungler looking towards top lane either. And as you look towards the blue side jungle of HKAYCEE, there's so much vision and wards just around there that are really telegraphing the movements of the jungler.
Who is not in the bottom jungle at the moment, so that will give them a level in the top jungle, so that will give them a level of comfort as to where he is. He's now heading over to the wolves, and it's kind of a signal. It's like a signal has gone off. Proe EE goes through, clears out the ward, and they are looking to get a dragon down. Valen oh my word, let's hit the backspace and head to the top lane. I don't know why I was watching wards because Saichi is at the bottom lane, and this is going to be a 1 versus 1 between OPeL, Proe, and Valen. The flashes go out. OPeL, Proe, and Saichi. Saichi almost gets away, uses everything that he can to try and get out of there. So in the end, OPeL Proe picks up the kill, and Dream arrives to prevent that kill from turning into a kill and a turret.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that little back and forth, the jungle of HKC has yet to do anything on the map to add pressure. I mean, he hasn't got any ganks off, he hasn't counter jungled at all, and he's really getting out jungled at this point by OPeL Proe here. A lack of vision and a lack of dominance throughout the team is actually really putting him behind right now.
Well, I suppose he has gank potential. He's just not using it. So he is now more than 10 CS behind his opponent and 3 kills behind. OPeL, who picked up MVP in the fourth game, just absolutely monstering away all over the map with with all of the kills of his team so far in game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the team of Flaccid, playing around their jungler, and look at him, he's already back at the top lane trying to make a punishment here as Limes does go in.
Yeah, Limes gets himself into position. The stun goes down. The cannon barrage gets called down, but it really isn't going to do anything to save him. And anyway, Limes had his Mega Knife just about ready to drive things home. That said, the Dragon is on the menu now since the jungler from HKC, Flaccid, showed in the top. But Dream gets taken down. All of a sudden, there's nobody in the top lane. They're all at the Dragon Pit. Jonty Wanty's also going to kill down, get taken down. And with 6 kills on the board for Flaccid, they are now going to take Dragon number 1 on the red side. They are getting the advantage they need to make the grand final theirs.
Yeah, they really got on the driver's seat, and as I mentioned, they're playing proactively. We see OPeL Proe dictating the map rotations and the map movements. He's really making the pace of the game to his liking, and Spectre on this Ash can't really carry in terms of he actually might get dove here.
Oh, indeed, he's under the turrets and trying desperately to save himself, but OPeL Proe at this stage is just too strong. Manages to survive tanking all of those turret hits thanks to his Sightstone and the Ruby Crystal that's sitting on him. So no problem there. That was just a free kill. Did I just see did somebody flash by accident?
I'm not quite sure. I'll see if there's any recently blown flashes. No, there hasn't been, so... yeah, Jotto actually might kill Lazarus here. May land the Q and does in fact miss it, but the ult doesn't come through either. And does Victor, not the Victor, the Xerath thus far has been kind of lackluster in terms of hasn't had any global pressure, hasn't gone for any crazy snipes with his ult in the bot lane or the top lane, and I've got to say, what's the point of picking Xerath over Azir?
Well, Azir was definitely an option, but Jonty wanting more comfortable picking up that Xerath. We might need to ask him at some point what his thinking was. I think that it was possibly for the kind of the stun CC that they want to be able to use. That's a kind of chain reaction that they want to be able to set up with stuns and then Gragas's knockback from the explosive cast, but it's not to be. 7-1 is the kill situation in favor of Flaccid. They have 2 turrets and 1 dragon. They are in the driver's seat right now and heading on over to the top lane right now to get delete Psyche again. As Valen goes in, he's tanking the turret. He's going to get out probably quite comfortably. Well, make sure that he gets out using his flash as OPeL Proe zones out Dream and then cleans up his jungle. So they'll take down that turret Poon. That's the 3rd one. And now they are in fact going to move on down and possibly take yet another turret, the 2nd tier.
Yeah, 6k gold lead at this early in the game. It's going to be really demoralizing for the side of HKC, but it's really up to them to try and stop the bleeding by protecting these turrets, really helping Psyche, because they've kind of thrown Psyche to the wind and just said, hey, do your own thing, we're not going to help you out.
And the thing is, just quickly, Lazarus eats an arrow, but he had his cleanse available. So he gets his cleanse to free him up and then proceeds to put a huge amount of damage down onto Sykes, who's forced to flash away in the end there. So that was probably an exchange in favor of Lazarus more than anything else.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning before, I'm not quite sure what the tangent of your
I
point
was going to
before
just
was.
say, the thing is that Gangplank is the kind of champion that you are supposed to be able to leave on his own, but not so isolated. You need to have pressure on other points of the map, don't you?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the new Gangplank's for carry top lane, and if the enemy team recognizes that you can just camp him out of the game, like obviously Flaccid has, then something like this can happen, and he goes in again.
Limes gets the Mega Gnar, gets his stuns down, but flashes up for Saichi, and he manages to juke the rock that gets thrown at him as he gets away. So he'll breathe a sigh of relief that he didn't go down yet again to the Gnar. 8-1 at the moment. We've got kills across the board for Team Flaccid, and right now just one kill sitting on the Gangplank, who hasn't managed to finish his Triforce just yet.
And here we see Jonty going for the typical Magi Soul Stealer play, and once again he's got it, and let's see if it pays off this game as well. But very interesting itemization, especially when you're behind.
Well, as we've said before, it's, you know, if you're so far behind, things are looking dire for you unless you do something special. Take the risk, and that is exactly what he has done. A little bit of a quiet period on the map of the game, ladies and gentlemen. 6,000k the gold lead for Team Flaccid. But that really is the story of the game. There are very few positives for HKC right now. How do you feel for Ash in terms of getting to the late game? Because we know that Corky has a mid-game spike. Do they need to wait this out, HKC?
Well, they can wait this out, but Ash isn't Tristana in the way that Tristana's mobile, she has a lot of damage, and she offers utility. Ash does have the utility, mostly, and the arrow does go wide just there. But yeah, Ash has a lot of utility and quite a bit of damage, but she has no mobility. And her late game is definitely a lot stronger than Corky's, but at this point in the game, I don't think they're going to make it to the late game, especially with the gold lead that HKC is behind in terms of gold, sorry.
So as you heard, the bottom lane turret goes down. Sykes has gotten himself caught. He uses his Monsoon very, very quickly. It gets cancelled by the knockup, and he gets taken down. The Victor very, very low at this stage. He might go down. Let's see if the three-pointer lands. It doesn't, as Gnar gets himself out of there. So they managed to pick up a kill, but no objective as a result of that. But Limes is still there. He's sticking around, and he trolls Dream. Dream goes in, takes the bait, and gets taken down as well. And the double kill from Corky might set things up for Team Flaccid to take down this mid lane turret. And in fact they do. That's 5 unanswered turrets in favor of Team Flaccid.
And this is 11k gold difference right now, and that's only 20 minutes in the game. It's a very, very dire situation for HKC, and it's really up to them to kind of play to their team comp, which is making picks, and thus far they haven't really played it correctly, as they might get caught out again.
Yeah, OPeL Proe catches Saichi with, in fact, the whole of his team around there. And Saichi tries to get himself away, but he is unable to do so. That is the fifth kill for the Corky, and they rotate now round to the Dragon, picking up, well, it's going to surely be Dragon number 2.
Yeah, Dragon number 2 going over to Flaccid. Very, very good play in terms of, actually, Asher does come across. I don't know if we'll stun him for long enough, and he may just walk out. Lime's so big at this point, has the Black Cleaver and the Randuin, but actually might die here, and does in fact go down to Jonty. But as I was mentioning, Dragon number 2, and here we have Flaccid playing the Dragon-based game, an objective-based game that they're known for playing.
But this time they're playing it on red side, and we have seen every game so far, 4 games in a row, how the red side has been too much of a disadvantage for teams, as every time the blue side has won. But for once we've got the red team looking very, very strong, as Flaccid play the objective game to, well, not quite to perfection, as finally the donuts go down. HKC Sykes manages just to get away, but Spectre's going to go down instead. And that is the ADC for Sykes. A flash forward from Lazarus securing the kill. In fact, getting the double kill on the duo lane from HKAYCEE. A consolation turret in the top lane there. But you've got to feel Poon at this stage. Flaccid might be starting to think about a Baron.
Yeah, Baron was definitely potential. I was going to even call it just then, but obviously going to play this game extremely safe. That 10k up, so there's no need to throw. And both, all members of the team of Flaccid right now is going to go do their own thing and give the blue across to Lazarus, denying Jonty the ability to infinitely wave clear with the blue buff, which is something you pick Victor for. And yeah, right now, this game's definitely
Xerath.
looking up for Flaccid.
That's what you picked Xerath for.
Yeah, he picked Xerath to wave clear, but nothing Azir can't do as well, you know?
This is true, this is true. So Proe on the split pushing duties down in the bottom lane. We've seen this before from Team Flaccid, for better or for worse. So he gets the he gets the lane pushed forward. Nobody around, no wards to warn him of champions coming through. So that's all he's going to do. Push it up, and then blue pill. Do a little bit of buying. So what do we have on the Corki right now? He's finished 2 major items already. The Triforce and the Blade of the Rune King. So he's going to be in a pretty good position to get as a duelist.
Yeah, all you see here on the side of Flaccid is 4 fed members and a pretty big Gnar as well. We have the 403 Victor. He's gonna be two-shotting Ashe if Spectre doesn't position correctly in these fights. We also have a very fed Proe at this point, so we'll see what our HKC can do to kind of stop the advantages that they have built up. But right now it's very hard with the team comp that doesn't really scale into the late game as hard as this team comp of Flaccid.
Nice use of the barrels there from the Gangplank to clear the waves and get some significant damage down onto the Gnar, breaking the siege effectively and pushing the Team Flaccid away from the turret. Corki pushed his mid lane up and then got out of there and is heading back down to the bottom lane. So definitely going to be split pushing as much as he can. Spectre pushing up a little bit with Dream in support, and you could just see OPeL Pro looking to create something out of that, hoping to find a pick so that they could put the accelerator down and take an objective down for Team Flaccid.
They've cracked the tier 1 and tier 2 ring of turrets, and now all that's left is a Dragon that is coming up in a minute or so, and also the Baron that is still up. So if they win a team fight now, Baron is definitely a very big potential. As HKC does ping the Desperation Baron, no wards to actually catch him on this rotation, so they may very well get it free.
Well, there is that tiny little ward in the corner there. Yeah, so the vision is going to be there. Nar's going to come in. He's not going to be... he's TPing down deep into the jungle, and a fantastic 3-man stun from the Lazarus sets things up. It is absolute carnage if you're in Team HKC. A double kill going down into the Corki. He's now 7-0-2 in the chase now on as Jonty really just wasting time. He's going to go down easy peasy. Yet another kill going down onto Proe. And that team fight, an absolute monstering by Team Flaccid.
Yeah, Flaccid just really powers through that team fight. A massive solar flare from Valen, and now the Baron is really there for the taking.
Oh, it was a solar flare, not Lazarus.
Pardon?
It was a solar flare that got the 3-man stun.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
I think they just piled CC on CC right there, and that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin. There's 15k gold lead in the Baron buff onto a team of really fit members, so it's going to be really hard for HKC to kind of claw back an advantage, especially with such a behind GP, sitting on 1.5 items compared to, the side of Flaccid, who, almost have 3 items finished up.
What a one-way lane this has been, one-way road for Flaccid. 19-2, 5-3, 2-0. All the critical stats, kills, towers and dragons going in their favor, and of course the Baron as well.
CS is even the CS differential was big in all the lanes. And as another engage might go in here, OPeL Pro looking to go in.
Yeah, Valen had his righteous glory going. He just gets in range for the Zenith Blade down onto Sykes. Legendary for Pro Double E as he picks up his 9th kill of the game. That is more than a third of the kills of his team. And, well, it's down to a 5-on-3 situation. And the call goes out. It's a grand final on the line here, so Flaccid don't want to take any chances. They have secured a numbers advantage, so they're going to pick up another dragon. Possible 3-pointer coming in as they wait things out. Nice patience there from OPeL Pro as they take down the 3rd dragon of the game and continue the one-way traffic in their favour.
Well, the smite was available, so he could have smited that away freely, as they may actually catch each other at the blue buff. The Tremor Sense actually going to show that they are in fact there, and OPeL Pro might concede this here, but looks like he wants to actually contest.
Well, Pro Double E has arrived. He has got himself 903, so he's pretty confident that his ADC has the damage to make things happen, but it might turn around onto them. Defensive solar flare from Valen, and then he comes in, the re-engage is on as just messiness all over in this fight. Who's going to die first? Jonty Wanty manages to get away. Sykes is on a smidgen of health. Finally, Pro Double E gets a legendary and then a double kill. They held on for so long, but when the thing started crumbling, they crumbled harder. Triple kill now for Pro Double E, and Limes manages to pick up a killing spree. Who did he actually kill?
He killed Dream in the jungle on the top side of that fight, and yeah, that team fight, although HKAYCEE had everything they wanted in terms of making a pick, the gold differential is too big and the carries have too much gold on them, and at this point it's really not much they can do.
They've cracked the base, they take down an inhibitor turret and the inhibitor itself. They'll rotate to the top lane and take down the top tier turret. Nice little wave management going on from them. Clean it up nice and easy.
Yeah, as they finally crack the top lane turret, they may very well siege into this, and they have no brand buff, but the Arish arrow goes in and the soul flare goes a bit wide, but Spectre will go down here and no AD carry for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, Spectre is dead, and the Mega Knight has arrived. He gets a 2-man stun underneath the turret, setting up the double kill for the Victor. Triple kill, in fact, for the Victor. Saichi is the only man standing. He decides to do a little bit of a dance as his team calls in the surrender. That is a 3-2 victory to Team Flaccid. What a game, Poon.
What a game and what a series indeed. And Flaccid really making the comebacks after being 2-1 down, come back and win the games 3-2. So very, very, very strong showing from Flaccid and just a standout performance by the team.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Let's just get you very quickly the damage stats as we reflect on a fantastic best of 5 series put on by the Victoria Engineering Club. A great, in fact, a great competition all the way through, and the grand final really delivered, Poon. So we can have a look very quickly at the damage stats, and while we do that, do we want to talk about an MVP for this game? And while we're doing it, let's talk about an MVP for the series.
MVP for this game, I'd have to give it again across to OPeL Pro. He just, the way he worked the map was just a pleasure to watch. Just really had the game knowledge and knew where to pressure the lanes. Obviously ganked and shut down Saichi's in the top lane as the gangplank, and he really just made life really easy for Limes on that top lane. I mean, he was struggling in the early levels, but then with the help of OPeL Pro there, he just was a monster.
Yeah, he went 3-0 very early on in the game. So much pressure all over the map, and as you say, set things up for his laners to really be in control of things and not really worry about things. So I'm happy for the MVP to go down onto OPeL Pro. And does that mean, since he's taken 3 MVPs out of a possible 5, that we should be giving him the MVP of the series?
Most definitely. I mean, throughout the whole series, even on that Evelyn game where they lost, he had the early pressure, he had the kills, and he really was the shining light even in those losses that really helped them get back into the game and keep their leads, because he's had just amazing pressure throughout the whole series, and just a fantastic jungler and a really, really good team player. It's obviously shows his Five's experience and yeah, did a fantastic job throughout the series. I'm very happy to give him the MVP. If you are also
Well, that's settled, ladies and gentlemen. Best of 5 MVP goes to OPeL Proe. So that'll be a $50 RP card heading your way, mates. Make sure that you give your real name and your address to the admins of the competition and get that through to me so that we can get that in the mail. And don't forget, when you get it, take a selfie of yourself or take a photo of the card next to your rig, post it up onto the Gamestah page, and go into the draw to win another $50 RP for our MVP promotion. It's RP raining out of the skies. Really.
yeah, RP everywhere.
RP for you,
Make sure
RP for you,
know.
RP for you. Let's just keep it coming.
Exactly, and then now you should have no excuse for not having 5 skins every game. I mean, you got the RP to gift your team, so and also the first prize RP, sorry. And also, whilst we're talking about the prizing, shout out to Steel Series for very, very sick Siberias that they are giving Siberia V3s. So shout out to Steel Series, and definitely a very great job by the VEC Engineering Club for hosting this tournament, and it's a pleasure for me and Crisis as Gamestah to shoutcast these tournaments. So definitely, if you guys want tournaments to be shoutcasted in future, just let me or Crisis know, and we'll definitely get in contact with you guys. But yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, Poon, for doing an excellent job on the analyst desk. That is it for today. It has been a cracker match, just confirming Team Flaccid's victory 3-2 over HKAYCEE. HKAYCEE can hold their heads high, taking the series all the way to the 5th game. But in the end, fantastic play by Flaccid in that final game, shutting out HKAYCEE just about and taking the grand final. Well, that is it from Gamestah TV today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. This is Crisis and Poon signing out.